Good evening, dear friends. Tonight on Deep Talks, 74th episode of Virtual Reality on Love Life and Experiences, we are going to have a beautiful soul from USA, Andrenette Moore, with us joining the candid conversations, and our co-host Srishti guiding us to light and love. We are so glad that after a lot of striking in a date to move on with casual conversations, I happen to choose Andrenette Moore today, tonight, to share her life experiences on beautiful episode of Deep Talks, a virtual reality on love, life, and experiences. And let's have Srishti rolling in beautiful words for Andrenette Moore about her challenges, life experiences, achievements, and much more to her credit, my dear viewers, the ones who are watching. I appreciate if you would comment so that we come to know who all is watching and we can connect to them whenever we can, so that we together rise and together empower many more people and motivate everybody. So let's have Srishti and Andrenette Mood together, welcoming on Deep Talks from the host and founder of Deep Talks. Good evening, Andrenette, and good evening, Srishti. So all over to you, Srishti.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening and welcome, everyone. It is my honor to introduce to you our guest for tonight, Miss Andrenette Moore. Miss Andrenette began her Mary Kay career in 2014 while living in Charlotte, North Carolina, working as a configuration analyst in the health insurance field. During her career, she has been the queen of sales in her unit twice and queen of sharing once. The company has recognized Antoinette in the Princess Court of Sales 3 times. She has been a star consultant 18 times and has earned several gifts, her favorite being her pink Mary Kay bicycle. In her Mary Kay career, Antoinette has accomplished becoming an independent sales director in one calendar month during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the company gives you 4 months to complete qualifications to advance to this position. She was recognized by the company for developing the most mid management leaders, Red Jackets, in July 2020 and September 2021. In August 2020, Andrenette was recognized in the top 5 for Great Start Qualified Consultants. She, with her amazing unit, Team Edge, Every Day God Elevates, completed qualifications in 2021. Andrenette was promoted to a senior sales director in October 2020. She achieved the company's new director programs On the Move, Fabulous 50s, and Honor Society, and finished second in her debuting class in the entire Ruby division and ninth nationwide. Andrenette also finished third for Building Leaders Red Jackets in the Ruby division for the 2021 seminar year. In September 2021, she was the 20th most improved in the state of Florida. Becoming a mother and living on her own at the age of 15 fuels Andrenette's passion to work with and develop women to become the best version of themselves. One of her favorite scriptures is Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. At this juncture, I also feel honored to introduce you with Dr. Gurleen Khokhar, a noble soul and a renowned psychologist. She has conducted so far 73 interviews with celebrated dignitaries prominent in their respective fields from all across the globe for the recognition of their innovative ideas. The purpose of the show is to provide a safe platform to talk about topics which are not usually discussed in the open, to inspire and encourage the audience who is in need of motivation. Today, in the 74th episode of Deep Talks, we have with us Miss Andrenette Moore to share her wonderful life experiences and achievements. I invite you all to enjoy this terrific and inspiring conversation with her. I am sure that you will relish this beautiful talk and will also participate in it by commenting, liking, and sharing it with your loved ones. Here, I would also like to mention that the contents of the channel do not intend to harm anyone's sentiments or feelings and do not have any intentions to hurt any religion, caste, creed, gender, or sex. With this, I leave the virtual stage of communication open to the public and ma'am for leading the way up. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Srishti, for a wonderful, wonderful introduction. Welcome, Andrenette, to this beautiful platform where we connect and have candid conversations. It's an honor for me to connect to you, my dear friend. It's been lovely that we connected from Claire Kreger's BBM conference, and I represented India there, and now it is Women Empowering Women, and how beautiful it is to have you on board Deep Talks. So welcome, a pleasant welcome.
Thank you so very much. It's a long time coming. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was maybe a year ago, almost a year ago we met. So
Year
I'm
ago,
so
yes.
honored to be here with you. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thanks a lot, Andrenette. And as we all know, that Srishti mentioned about your Mary Kay career. So I would love to know, how did you begin with your career in 2014 with Mary Kay? Was it an idea that was, told to you by someone to join in, or it was something that came to you because you were working as a configuration analyst in the health insurance field? So we would love to know what drove you to this field and what made you who you are today?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Okay, so with the Mary Kay, someone always has to ask you, or you have to
Yes.
go through another person with Mary Kay. So someone did ask me, someone I knew very close, and I said I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to beg anyone. I don't want to. I was really busy. I worked 2 weeks out of town. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I traveled to Providence, Rhode Island, 2 weeks out of the month. Single mom, three
Yes.
children, in custody of my niece. So I said, I just don't have time for that. And I said, I don't want to be begging people. I just don't have time to do those things. And
True.
thank goodness, you know what? I'm glad that I did, because it was to help her out to move into her red jacket,
Yes.
ironically, and now I'm being recognized for
Yeah.
building those red jackets. God has always got a plan, but I came in to help her out. But I don't think at the time, I know at the time, I didn't know the gift that it was, and she didn't know what she was doing either. She thought she was maybe doing this to boost herself up, but it
Ah,
really wasn't. It was to really get me to a place where God had designed for me to already go, but me not
oh
knowing
my
that.
God. That is wonderful, because this is something that speaks volumes, that there is always somebody telling you to move an inch, and that's how your career started. Maybe it's well stated, conversations never die, and an attitude to think about making an impact must not die. So maybe you had an idea and you just began your career in Mary Kay in 2014 in New York. So how did you shift to Jacksonville, Florida, and being a mother of three daughters and grandma of two love bugs, as you state them, named Taylor and Tori? That's a fantastic introduction to them. When I read it, two love bugs, it hit my sentiments, and it feels awesome to be a mother and grandmother as well. So, how have you been juggling between the roles of being a career woman and then looking after your three daughters, and then obviously two love bugs? I'm sure that it is difficult, but do you believe that time management and prioritizing things do work in achieving success in life? That's my question. Yeah.
Time management, money management, and emotional management are three things that everyone needs, definitely in business. Definitely in business. Now, remember, I was still working my full time job,
Yes.
and working the job, doing the business, doing other things. Now I have two daughters that are older, so when I started 7 years ago, they were in the house. I think maybe two were in the house, maybe all three. And then over time, I just have the one that's 15 left. But time
Yes.
management is a must, and what I've learned is we have to write everything down. As mothers, as women, we're designed to
Yes.
just do and make things happen. But when I write things
True.
down, Dr. G, oh my goodness. And it's there's power in that. It's really power.
Yes.
Even the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. So you have to write
Yeah.
it out. And a part of making it plain is writing the plan. The plan is the time management. You writing the planner is like your life's plan. That's your
Yeah.
life's timesheet. So we go to
Yes.
work on our jobs, and we have a
Yes,
timesheet. So why
true.
can't we have a timesheet for our life? Because our life is forever. Even when we're not
Yes,
in the job, our life is forever. So time
yes,
management is really, really crucial. It's
very.
really been a great thing for me. And when I use my time management and I use the tools that I have in place, the planner where I write my life down,
Yes,
everything flows together. But without it, it's chaos. I think I'm getting a thing done, but really
yes.
I'm being busy and not productive, and that's not good. It's not
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I would love to know, Antoinette, from you about your lows in life. I'm sure every human being goes through lows in life, and you've been through also. So I would love to know some of your personal experiences where you can empower others or motivate others watching this show, that we all have our ups and downs in life, and how we sail through them is what counts, and how we can have a hope in despair is what it takes, like a courageous heart and having the confidence to move on, to ask for help. So can you share one of your personal experiences, being the queen of sales? Obviously it's a big title in a unit twice and queen of sharing once, in your career, where you felt, or as a mother you felt, oh my god, this would have not been possible if I would not have done this, or maybe my friend wouldn't have been there, I would not have come so far. Do you feel that gratitude does also count? So these are the two questions that I would love to ask you, because there's audience that's watching you, and the ones who will be watching you later, they would love to know who Andrenette Moore is, and how does she deal with her lows, and how does she deal with her success equally well.
So please allow me to share with you a piece of my story, because I can't give you the full thing today. So
Wonderful.
a piece of my story, and it'll all tie together. See, the things, this is what I learned. The things that we think we want are always not what we need. What we need is not always what we want. And we go through a thing and it all comes full circle in a way that we don't necessarily know. So I was a mother at 15. I think it said it, it was read
Yes,
in my bio. I was a mother at 15 and also lived on my own at 15. So I was not
true.
only a mother, but I lived in an apartment, going to school, paying rent at 15 years old. Had my daughter by the time I was 22. I think I had two daughters. I have
Okay.
all daughters,
Yes.
and granddaughters. So by the time I was 22, had two daughters, and then I had one at 33, I think it was. So I had one really early, one like kind of
Fantastic.
medium, and then one at one like and that's the fun. That's 15. That's still yeah.
Yeah.
So you can imagine living on your own at 15, having to rely on public assistance and things like that to help
Yes.
take care of me. That was a little tough. I was still a kid, but these are things
Yes.
you go through. And being in that time, I also was going through domestic violence in that same time. So I
Yeah.
was
Totally
dealing
can
with
relate.
yeah, so that domestic violence in the relationship, living on my own, going to school, going to
It's
work
worse.
with a
Yeah.
baby, then another baby, and all trying to
The
juggle everything, even
challenge.
understand life. So at
Yes.
this age, you really don't understand life. I always tell this joke and said, I didn't know anything until I hit 35. Like seriously,
Oh, fantastic.
you think about it,
Yeah.
like we're still figuring things out, and even now we're still
Yes.
figuring things out. So I dealt with that,
Yes.
the teen pregnancy and being
Yes.
ostracized and talked about and belittled, and they think that, oh, you were this smart girl and now all of a sudden you're pregnant. You're not. Well, I
Yes.
said, well, me having a baby doesn't mean that
Yeah.
there's something going on. This is something different. It doesn't take away my
Different.
brain power, my thinking power. So you being judged, coming home every day with different people on the phone. And my mother had me because she thought she was doing the best thing to try to make
Yeah.
me, abort,
Come.
adoption, just different things. So going through all those things, and then the domestic violence,
Right.
finally getting out of that, still being a single mom and going through life learning. I remember at one point I would catch 3 buses to get to work. So I had to do what I needed to do because I wasn't someone who sat back and just allowed life to happen to
Yes.
me.
Yes.
You have to go after it and attack it, because if you become complacent, for me, complacent is the new failure. Do a thing, move a
Yes.
thing, and let God lead you where to go. We always want,
Yes.
we have a picture we want our life to go and how we want it to happen, but our
True.
picture is not always going to happen. As long as we get to the end goal, that's all that matters. So you and I can have the same thing, Dr. G, same dream,
Exactly.
and
Yes.
how we get there is going to be different because the how is up to God. Did not
Yes.
realize this or know this most of my life, life I've been alive, but then just going to those different things, leaving from Niagara Falls, moving to Buffalo, which is only 20, 30 minutes, and then moving to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes. It
Um,
takes a lot.
it
Yeah.
was a lot. And so,
Yes.
and what happened, let me just share with you how sometimes we don't
Yes.
expect things to happen. Or I was fired from my job. I don't get fired from work. That's what I do.
Yes.
I've been working since I was before I was of age to work. So
Yes.
I know what I learned later on. It was God nudging me because it was time for me to move out of Buffalo, New York. So it took
Yes.
me to Charlotte. And I'm telling you, I didn't have a job until 2 weeks before I got there. But I went on faith. You have to have faith
Yeah.
in a
Faith.
thing. You have to have faith is an action word. So
Yeah.
when you have faith, you have to do a thing. You can't sit back and say, I have faith. You have to
True.
do a thing in that faith and just trust that everything you want to happen will happen. So move there, moved to Charlotte, started the business in Mary Kay, came to Jacksonville, Florida. Twice in this whole Mary Kay world that I've been in, because I was doing both. Twice I have
Yeah.
been unemployed. Currently, I am unemployed as far as a typical job, but I do have my business. Thank God for
Yes.
that. The business that I did not want,
Thank God. Yeah.
that I wasn't going
Thank
to
God.
do, Dr. G, right? I wasn't going to do it because I said it wasn't for me, but God knew all along I needed this. What I
True.
found out, because originally I was worried about me selling a product, which I do sell a product, but it's more than that. See, this
It's more
business,
than that.
this business thing goes for God first, family second, career third. We believe faith is definitely the key to success. Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
What we believe in as company, the culture was everything. So I caught hold of that. That makes sense, and knew that God had me in the right place at the right time. See, growing
True.
up, I was always talked about, Dr. G, from because I
Yeah.
talked. I talked a
Yeah.
lot. And they say you
Yeah.
talk too much, you talk too fast, not realizing that was the enemy's way of distracting me to not use my voice because it was meant for me to speak life into other people, which when people ask me,
True.
I said I speak
True.
life into others. So for me,
Yeah.
he had to allow, because he could have stopped it, right? We
Stop.
know
Yeah.
God is God. He didn't stop those things. He allowed me to go through them and get through them so that I can share my story with other people so that
And
they
that's
can do it
fantastic.
too. So
Yeah. That's
you're
fantastic.
supposed to. We're supposed to, right?
Yes, we are supposed to empower people. We're supposed to teach them, and everybody has something to learn from everybody. So, faith is the key to success, as Nilima Mahal states and joins us in the conversation. A very good evening, Nilima Mahal, for joining us. Thanks a lot. We are talking with Andrenette Moore in the conversation on Deep Talks, and she has been recognized in the Princess Code of Sales 3 times, Queen of Sales in her unit twice, my dear viewers, and Queen of Sharing once. Been a star consultant 18 times and has earned several gifts. And it's amazing, amazing how she has said that we grow through what we go through. That's so important. And she has endured the challenges in a way and has moved to from where she was to a pinnacle of success where she is an independent contractor sales director in one calendar month during pandemic where it takes 4 months to complete the qualification. Now that's an incredible achievement, Andronit. How did this happen and why did you decide to go so fast and compete during this pandemic period? And did you fear that during this pandemic you would not be able to give that much as your own expectations from your own self would have been there when you reached this success? And you stated that you completed the qualification where people take 4 months to complete and you were there on it like anything. So would you say that you are a passionate woman driven to success when it comes to struggles and challenges? Because I see that fiery spirit in you. So do you feel the same or is it more than that? And how did you complete this qualification in such a short duration? Our viewers would love to know.
Awesome question. Great question. So I do know that I do with the struggle thing because people labeled me, first of all, and said I would fail. So it's that, but it's more. So
Yes.
once I discovered that I'm not supposed to be here just to selling, but I'm breathing belief and hope in other people who have gone through a thing, maybe the same things I went through, maybe not. But when I see, thank you so much, when I see that what this business was about, that ignited me because I'll share with you, I was a sales director before Dr. G, and it did
Yes.
not last that long. And it took
Yes.
me all 4 months
Oh
to
God.
complete it. We had not earned any the use of any vehicle in Mary Kay. So what I
Yes.
did, because I'm a woman of my word, And so someone
Yes.
said to me, what is your goal for the end of the month? And I said, I don't know. But by the end of the year, which is June for us, June 30th,
Oh,
I said in Mary Kay, not, in Mary Kay, it's June 30th.
yes.
I said, by the end of the year, I'll be in leadership again. And
Oh,
because I'm a woman of my
fantastic.
word, I'm a woman of my word. And then the pandemic happened. Boom.
Oh,
So
yeah.
typically we go into people's homes, right?
Yes.
And because
Yeah.
we're about building relationships, it's not about sales, it's about the
Yes.
relationship. So now we can't. And then it was like I heard God's voice saying, you've been doing this already from home,
Yes.
doing it virtually, because I worked in IT, so that it
Yes.
flows through. So he said, you've been doing this. So I just started reaching out. And when I say, I really believe, because of how my mind shifted, to
Wow.
say that I'm supposed to share my story, I'm supposed to see how others can pull themselves out of their situation,
True.
build their
True.
self-confidence. I believe that was the trigger. And I just gave God had it for me, but I had to do work. I had to have that faith to say, okay, when I tell you, people were coming to me, I didn't know, to say,
Yeah.
we want to work with you. We want to work with you. And I just kept speaking to them. We are doing this in 1 month. We're going to get
Yeah.
done. You can do it. I just had to, you can do it. When I said there were women doing things they have never thought they could do, it built their self-confidence. It changed who they were into the person they're supposed to be all along. Because we're in these shells, but it brought them
Yes.
out, and they were doing things. And people are like,
Yes.
they're like, wow, what is going on? I didn't know. It was so
Yes.
fast for me. So then we earned 3 cars in 3 months. It was really wow.
Crazy.
So,
Yeah, it's
but
crazy to cover up in such a short duration, and you were
right,
wired for success. Yeah, because when you're passionately driven, you don't even count the time and the months, they fly by. And that's what happened to you. And it is such an achievement. It's an incredible achievement that a woman driven to her career so badly has achieved this in just 1 month, one calendar month, my dear viewers. And right, Srishti, perseverance and consistency is required. Thanks a lot for putting in the comments in there, because we feel that we appreciate people who view us, like and share, and also engage in our conversations and listen to what the other party has to say. So, recognized by the company for developing the most mid management leaders red jackets in July 2020 and September 2021, Andrenette. This is something that we would love to know, that you were also recognized in the top 5 for Great Start qualified consultants. So, how did you go in for this success? Do you believe that being in success has changed you as a person, or you still are that somewhere that humble quality is still there in you, and you are grounded to achieve more and more, and these achievements don't stop you from going ahead in life? This is my question, because people get shifted when they achieve success in life. So I would love to know from you, and our viewers would love to know, does this affect you, that the way you're moving, I'm sure you are going to be an inspiration to millions of people, and you are already an inspiration to many in Florida. So we would love to know, is this quality of yours great enough to sustain the coming success and to maintain the success? Are you really, really working hard to be humble, or it comes in as a spirit that you are, because you are kind and you are humble? And I'm honored that you are here today, taking out your precious time for us. But this is something that doesn't come with everyone. Success, kindness is not coming together for many people. So, how do you think about this thought?
awesome. First, I want to say to say it right, Shristi. Did I say it right? Shristi, is that her
Yes,
name?
yes,
So
yes,
perseverance, that word perseverance is near and dear to me, because we have a future area, and I always say we're serving pie,
yes.
PIE, and the P in pie is perseverance. So we
Perseverance.
believe in perseverance, integrity, and we operate in excellence. That's the pie.
True,
So I have to be humble,
true.
because for me, again, my mind shifted, and I know that this isn't for me, it's for other people, and it's for God. So if I get the big head syndrome, as they call it, right, Dr. G, the big head
Yeah,
syndrome,
yeah.
how is that how am I honoring God in that? I'm giving myself all the credit and not him. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
working, but he's working through me, because he lives on the
yes,
inside of me. So he lives on the inside of me. So No, and I'm totally honored. I was actually honored by someone on the national level. She asked me to speak to her people who were aspiring to being red jackets or mid management leaders. That was huge for me. So I have
Fantastic.
to. So,
Superb.
but because it's a learning tool. So what
Yes.
happens is the more I speak, and that's why I thank you as well. The more I speak, the better I become because I touch and agree with you on that. I will be speaking to so many people as
Yes.
I push my way up through the ladder in Mary Kay. But the great thing is this: you have to almost kind of be humble in Mary Kay because she
Yes.
designed this company that just one person can't do it. You have to work together as a team and do things together. If you get the big head syndrome, guess what?
Yeah.
You're all about yourself and not everyone is gone. So
Everyone's gone. Yeah.
everyone to leave because no one wants to work. Who wants to work with that? Like, who wants to work with that
Exactly.
energy? So you want
Exactly.
someone that you can work with. So I have to stay humble. And let us not forget, although my family life was not horrible growing up, the things that happened to me were most people would look at it saying, what kind of childhood did she have? But I didn't have a horrible childhood. So I have
Yes.
to remember the things I've gone through to get to where I'm at. Because maybe
Yes.
had I not gone through those things,
Fantastic.
maybe
Yeah.
had I not gone through those things, you wouldn't see the woman that's sitting before you.
True, true. And I totally agree to you, Andrenette, for that because you do require that appreciation and you do feel that you are here because of the challenges you faced. Yeah. So you are shining now because you went through those rough edges and you are doing amazing. And I have come to know about your amazing unit team named Edge. And I quite like the meaning of it. Every day, God elevates. This is something that is so inspiring, so motivational. So they completed the qualifications for Chevy Malibu in July 2020 for 2021, and Chevy Equinox in August 2020, and Chevy Camaro, which she's currently on in September. This is fantastic. I would love to know something about your amazing unit team named Edge. So, how did this name happen, and how do you relate to your team when it comes to working together? Do you think, as you stated, together we rise and together we move? We should not be self-centered because it's like a bubble. It just cannot work. It just bursts. It's not realistic. It's not practical. So when it comes to speaking and empowering others, how does it feel to be given a great unit to work with? And how do you feel when you go into your team? Do you feel that it's more like a family besides your own family? It's because I believe you have to have good relations with your working team to produce great results. So, how would you state that your team has equally contributed to be who you are today? And I would love to know your inputs about your team and what do they do?
Okay, so the name, first you asked about the name. So the name, remember I said I was a director before that did not last long. I
Yes,
stepped down. So we were called Sisters with the Goal, swag, right?
yes,
So now I'm thinking about going back into leadership for good, like staying there, no stepping down, no anything. I'm in the closet. No, this is true story. I'm in the closet praying.
yeah,
And I get edge because I'm very, if you haven't noticed, I'm very edgy. I can be very,
edgy.
I can be
Yes,
very,
yeah,
so I'm like edge. So every day God elevates. And I said every day is one word, but no, it doesn't have to be. But it could have still been capitalized so I can make it my own. So I prayed on it. And then immediately after, it said your area will be pie and gave me the
wow,
acronym. And I said, wow, God, because that's big thinking to go from not even in mid management at that point, because I went from
yes,
2 to 11 to 30 to 50 years, kept going. So I'm like, oh, that's big thinking. So every day God elevates, which I believe is definitely true.
yes,
I get up every day and I say, today I woke up the best version of me, and tomorrow I'll wake up
wow,
even better because I grow
yes,
every day in every way. Before my feet hits the ground, after I thank God for waking me up, I say these things to me because you have to have something that you say to yourself, an
yes,
affirmation. And before we leave, I'll even give you my affirmation that I say, usually whenever I'm introducing things like that. I didn't start it
yes,
off with that today because it's on a different platform, but I'll share it with you. You have to breathe belief into you because guess
yes,
what? As Mary Kay says, speed of the leader is speed of the gang. Meaning
wow,
if I'm not powerful and if I'm pitiful, you can be pitiful or powerful. If I'm not
that is
powerful, how do I
wonderful.
expect that? How do I expect my unit to do a thing, right? So
Yes,
I
yes,
have to come with that. And when I speak to them, we are a family. And in fact,
yes,
some of my unit members, they'll, when people come in, they'll say, come, or they come into a Zoom, they'll say, or whatever, into a room, great evening, family. One of her name is Lisa. She'll say, great evening, family. We address it as that because we are family. Because you figure, I'm doing life with these ladies and men, because there's men in Mary Kay. I am doing life.
Yes.
If you have to do that quote, definitely. I am doing life with women and men. And at times, some of their families. Remember, this is a family business, meaning that, we God first, family second. So the family knows about it because they have to. And most times they help out. So remember, I am being in the space of their parents at times, their children, their husband, their wives, the dog. Like, everyone knows me, everyone. So we have to, we're a family, and we're business. I said to them, this is always business, never personal. But some people you do develop other kind of relationships with as well.
Very well stated.
Yeah. So you have to be a family, because together everything is more powerful. Together, back up, pat somebody blow, but by itself, what if I come and poke you? Is that doing something? It's doing something. But if I come together in the fist and hit you with that, it's going to do more. So together we do more. So we have to create a place of unity.
Yeah. So when you came to know that you were promoted to Senior Sales Director in October 2020, how did this feel to you? Because you have achieved companies' new director programs on the move, Fabulous 50s and Honor Society, finished second in a debuting class. This is something fantastic, and number 9 nationwide, and also number 3 building leaders in Ruby Division for 2021 seminar year. So in September 2021, she was 20 most improved in the state of Florida, that is United States of America. My dear viewers, it's a great, fantastic achievement, and I must congratulate. And with me, the viewers who are watching and the ones who will be watching later definitely will be inspired with your experiences. And this is something that I don't know whether you believed that you would be achieving, because it's an incredible achievement over the time, being a mom, struggling through your teens, passing through the challenges, and being wise enough to not to get diverted to other, substance abuse and much more stuff in life, rather than choosing a career to work on and become the 20 most improved in the state of Florida. This is something fantastic. So would you like to share your experience as to what transformation happened when you became the Senior Sales Director? And as a woman, what challenges can a woman face in the working environment like yours? And how can you empower others by stating some tips to live healthy?
Well, it totally did not expect it so soon. Although I wake up every day with an expectation, I'll say, thank you so much. I always say that we have to have an expectation. We have to wake up every day. If I can say something to the viewers, I'll say this. You have to wake up every day with an expectation. Even when it looks like things are not going to happen for you, you have to know that it's going to happen. You have to believe it. I don't care what it looks like. Look at this way. And this is how I looked at this thing. I dreamt of these things. It's on my long list of goals. Was one of my goals is to be at the top of the company. It's number one on my list. I dream it. So I dream it. And although what I see out of these eyes, I wear glasses. I'm like, my vision is usually blurry. It's usually blurry. So I can't go what I see with the natural eye. I have to go within the mind eye, what I dream up. We grow up and we forget how to dream, like when we're little kids. We have to keep those dreams, because God is still an on-time God. And whenever it needs, thank you so much. Whenever it needs to happen, it's going to happen. But we have to wake up believing it. So when it started going, I'm like, wow. And I remember it was the last day of the month. Now, in order for this to happen, me to become a senior, someone else had to come up underneath me in my unit. Yes. They had to become a director. She did it in 2 months.
Oh, God.
The pandemic. So I felt like that was God giving me belief, because you don't measure your success on where you're at. You measure your success on where the other people that you have coached and mentored get to. So when you say about the senior director, about the building the mid management leaders, it gives me, I believe it's God fueling me, saying you are an effective leader. Keep going, because you see you're growing these other people. It doesn't matter what I accomplish, but I do know this as well. When you when you help someone else get to where they want to be, you're going to be
Yes.
elevated as well. So
Yes.
the last day of the month, I remember saying to my offspring sales director, Felicia, she said to me, how is it looking for you guys? I said, no, let's worry about how it's looking for you to get this done.
Yes.
She might have been thinking she had 2 other months if needed to finish this. I was
Finish
thinking,
it.
let's get this done now. Remember, I said it
Inside
takes 4
now.
months. It
Yes.
takes 4. I did it in 1. She was on her 2nd month. She was looking to go to the next month. I said, no, we're going to get this done today. And on
Today.
the 30th is the last day of the month. It has, we go by months. And I said,
Yes.
no, let's get you finished first, and we'll talk about me later. But when the
Yeah.
dust cleared, she was done, and she had mid-management red jackets that she took with her. And then,
Yes.
oh, I thank you so much. And then it boosted me to senior and also to earn the use of the Camaro. I wasn't
Camaro. Yes.
thinking about the Camaro. And then even for her, 2 months, she finished in October, right?
Oh.
November, she had earned her first car. So
Ah.
see how that goes? When you pass on what you have, others catch it.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah. So when I talk to them like this, and I come bold, Dr. G. I'll say to
Yes.
them, there's many things maybe I can't give to you right now, but I can share with you what I can.
Definitely.
Because I've done it. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's an ever growing thing that you're learning every single moment, and anybody can motivate anyone. Sitting across the globe, we connected, and that's so wonderful that we connected on a platform called Broken but Beautifully Made.
I
And that's
know.
fantastic. I never knew that we would connect there. I would be representing India. That time it was just a journey of speaking. As you're speaking about your struggles, I was speaking about my own journey. And that's how I penned down, and it came into a story amongst 14 foreigners in Breakdown to Wake Up Journey by Jocelyn Bellows. So it was something fantastic happened. So miracles can only happen if we do listen to our inner voice. I always say to people and share some deep tips on my program. So my deep tip for today's thought would be motivating others should begin by self-care and self-management with engagement of time management. My dear viewers who are watching us, thanks a lot for comments, and do engage in the conversation because that makes us feel even more best and bright. Well, there have been comments coming in from Srishti and Nilima, and there will be people who will be watching us later. And the ones who do not comment, obviously, I would love to thank you also for joining us because this is something that's very, very engaging, not only to the mind, but to our inner conscience. So when we learn in conversations, we do develop a thought that can initiate a wonder. A wonder could be a miracle that can empower not you, but your family members, your near ones, your dear ones. And that can actually mark an independent victory for somebody. And I always aim to instill confidence to communicate and break barriers for free talk. And that's the reason I have deep talks, because every heart and mind needs to express. And this love seat where Andrenette Moore is sitting holds relevance because she has the courage to talk about her experiences of life. So, Andrenette, coming to you, what do you think about when I say women empowerment? Do you think we are born empowered and we just get educated to know our rights? What is women empowerment according to you, and how would you define that in modernistic times? What is your thought on women empowerment, on what it takes to be an empowered soul?
I do believe that everyone is born with some type of gift.
Yes.
Right? We are born with gifts. And that includes women empowerment. I do believe that it depends on if we're willing to answer the call. And you talked about that inner voice.
Inner voice, yes.
A lot of times we allow the ego, which I did for years and sometimes still do, we allow the ego.
Yes.
EGO, the ego to come over and take control. And ego means to me edging God out. Right?
Yes.
So we're not hearing that inner voice because we do know that inner voice is God talking to us, or whoever that you worship is who you're allowing that voice to take over your ego. So you're not edging that voice out. So when we do that, we start getting these learning experiences, I call them. I don't believe necessarily in generational curses. I believe in habits and learned behavior. But if we allow that inner voice to come, it'll change us into the person we're supposed to be. So then we are empowering other people by sharing our story, because oftentimes people think if they're going through one little thing, 2 things, 10 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things, that they aren't qualified. to do a
True.
thing or speak on a thing, but not realizing all those things are learning experiences, and that makes you more qualified than anyone else. The best teacher is
Yes.
life experiences. The best
Yes.
teacher is life experiences. So now it calls for us to be bold. Woman empowerment
Yes.
calls you to be bold, and you may not get on. They may not come on talking like yourself or me, but
Yes.
you have
True.
to be true and authentic to who you are. And it's
Yes.
okay to be who you are. And if people judge you, so what? They talk about everybody. Remember
Yes.
this too. People will criticize what they don't understand. So
Yes.
they
My
will
next question
understand.
was coming for you on this only, Andrenette, what you stated. Does criticism affect you when you move up the ladder in business and in personal life? Do you believe your critics are your best friends? Because I do believe that since many people talk against you, you start thinking about where what went wrong, and you have alternative ways to discover a whole new you. And that is a fantastic way to transform yourself. So, your answer was my question, which you already answered. And I would love to ask you again because criticism is, a born appetite for many. It's a born
Mm,
appetite for many people, and they would love to criticize a woman going up the ladder. So, being a single mom and struggling through whatever you struggle through, I've been through it, and I feel all the single ladies watching this show need to listen to Antoinette Moore's answers because she has something that's called faith, and that faith is undeterred for because she is believing in to be strong and courageous, and she does not believe in fearing things because she believes in conquering the fears. For the Lord your God is with you wherever
there
you
you go.
go. And that
Wherever
is something she believes in. And equally, I agree with what she believes in because that is where we are in conversation. And that's how we thought of engaging in one. Despite the challenges we faced in slotting a date for this conversation, we are here tonight talking to you, my dear viewers. And if you're watching this, she is the senior sales director and leader of Team Edge, Andrenette Moore from Florida. She is someone who can be asked for help, guidance, or a motivational quote that can inspire your life, and you can just pull back into the lady or gentleman you would want to be. You can just hold on to your strings and move up because she's somebody whom everybody would want to befriend. And yes, she is ever smiling. And I am very fortunate to have her here because she does mean a lot to me as a friend. So, talking about criticism, how do you take criticism in your life, Andronette? Because you're a very optimistic soul. As I've come across you, yes, you said that you're edgy, but I do believe that it comes because you have come to a position where you want 300% work done in time. So when things don't work in an organized manner, you do become cranky, edgy, and aggressive. And that's quite human to feel so. So I would love to ask you, does criticism affect your mindset, and how do our viewers deal with critics?
Okay, yeah, yeah. I call it assertiveness, Dr. G. Look, edgy assertiveness. So critics, let me just tell you this. Oh my goodness, people, like I said, they'll judge, and
Yes,
at first I owned it. I'm glad you asked this question. So I used to ask myself, why did I get to a certain place in my life? Because whatever I usually do, I was succeeding, but I wasn't giving myself credit for it.
yes,
But what I learned is it was because of the critics, because they thought a thing about me. I started believing those things about myself, or subconsciously, not
yes,
saying them, but your subconscious mind is it controls everything. So when you
it's
get
true.
that down in you and you allow people to speak that over you, so I kept saying, why am I only going to this part, this space, and not excelling past that? Well, because
Yes,
people talked about me, I sabotaged myself with it, so I learned. I would only
yes,
get to a certain point because I didn't want them to talk about me further.
yes,
Can you believe not doing a thing because of what other people, because you want to feel, you want a sense
exactly.
of belonging. I at one point I learned I wanted a sense of belonging, right?
Yes,
So I wanted to
yes.
belong, and then like why? So I had to
Why?
let it click. Like, well, maybe you're not supposed to be where they're at. Let them stay there. You excel on. And I learned that
Yes.
there were different people at each level. But I also learned someone else was being inspired by me. And so I had
True.
to keep moving. So the critics, yeah. So what I can say to you, audience that's on now and that's listening later, I'll say this:
Yes.
you can't, you can care but not care. You can't let it stagnate you. When people say,
Yes.
again, people will criticize what they don't understand, and maybe it's not for them to understand. We're all connected
Yes.
to someone who is supposed to be following us, watching us, that we're leading, and we may not even know them. You know,
Yes.
we have
True.
mentors we don't even know us. So we have to keep moving for them. It's not for us. So we can't be selfish. And I know none of us are. So we can't be selfish. So we have to move forward, even if the critics have a thing to say. If nothing
Yes.
else, what we do is we pray that they'll catch on and realize they're
Yes.
focusing so much energy on me. If they focus it on themselves, they too can grow so they can take the people that's following them onto different levels as well. So it's
Yes.
very hurt. It can be very hurtful, especially when
Yes.
it's family.
Yes, it's family, near ones. Near ones hurt you more. So,
Yeah.
my dear viewers who are watching us, whatever Andrenette has stated is coming from her heart and mind in a very honest manner, where you would listen to what she's saying and learn and also imply in your behavior. You don't have to associate with people who actually make you feel even more devastated. Come out of that, don't remain stagnant, ask for help, because this is something that is going to open the window for a brighter tomorrow, my dear viewers. And in case, say, if you have an issue and you cannot resolve it on your own, you're always welcome to write to me at gurleenkhokhar@gmail.com, because my counseling services office is always having a window for you. Never forget that when you ask for help, you are not belittling yourself.
Not
You
at
are
all.
empowering yourself, and you are also gaining an edge and confidence to actually be who you can be. And you're just dreaming about it, but you're not taking the step to actually move ahead. So, before we leave this conversation, Andrenette, our viewers will be watching us later, would love to know 5 factors or 5 tips to have healthy relationships in life, whether personal or professional. 5 tips to actually lead a better life, and how can one lead a great life, and also the importance of communication,
Mm.
effective communication. That is something that people miss these days, because there are a lot of misunderstandings. Like I say, I love you. It is stated in a manner where somebody might feel that it is coming as just a layman statement or something coming in from inside. It's true and honest. So, does the emotions pave a way for success? When one manages one's emotions, then one does have a control over one's body behavior and one achieves success in life, is my question. Because IQ and EQ together in a balanced state and a balanced manner can lead to a better life. So you can share with us some tips that can make people live little better.
Well, you said five. You actually touched on. You have probably touched on all five of them. Definitely, communication. That's one of
Yes.
them. Because it's
Yes.
one of the things, because it can be difficult to say a thing, and I'm looking here. Asking for help can be difficult. Um,
Yes.
you have to know the right people to reach out to and communicate with. You can't
Yes.
share everything with everyone. And if you know
Yes.
it's someone who's going to be very negative, very judgmental, why to go share that anyway? And if you can't
Yes.
get someone, go seek a professional. Go seek a
Yes.
professional to communicate with, because at times you need to get these things off your chest. Oftentimes, from growing up in our childhood or going through life, we have to get these things out, because as long as it lives on the inside of us, it's killing
Yes.
us, and from the
Yes.
inside out. So effective communication is one of a great thing. I talked
Yes.
about the emotional management, time management, and the money management, but I'll probably leave the money off, because it'll come with everything else. Time
Yes.
management, excuse me.
That's all
You have
right.
to be willing.
Choose
You
to.
have to be willing to give time and plan the time. It has to be something worth taking the time to plan out. So
Yes.
if your life is important to you, you're going to write down what your goals are,
Yes.
what your dreams are. Start, if you don't know what your goals are, just sit back and give yourself time to sit and think about, what do I want to do? How do I want
Yes.
to feel? And if I did this thing, how would it make me feel? So that's kind of
True.
time and emotion together. You have to think about, what do you want, because honestly, I've met people who don't know what they want. They can't tell
Yes.
you why they're doing a thing or what they want to get out of a thing. So that is
Yes.
important to take the time to think and get quiet.
Yes.
When I say
Yes.
time management, get quiet and really think
Yes.
about what you have to think this thing out. This is our lives that we're talking about.
It's
So
true.
that's very important. I was someone that was always go, 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 go. And my
Yes.
pastor brought up a good point recently how people deal with things. Sometimes we deal with those hurt things by achieving a thing in life, and we don't
Yes.
take the time to sit back and really. So I had to take time to sit back. So that time management is important. Love yourself enough to take
Yes.
time out to
Well
say,
said.
what do I need to do? How do I
Yes.
need to, how can I even communicate this thing out? So communication, time
Yes.
and
It's
being
a
open to change.
true.
You know,
Yes.
as women, I don't like to say this, but especially as women, we can become very headstrong. I am. We
Yes.
all are. So it's our way or the highway. No, sometimes someone is giving us some information that we need to listen to. So we have to be
True.
willing to change and think positive.
Yes, too. That is so fantastic. And whatever you mentioned is always something that has touched my sentiments. And I do believe that I'm also a strong headed woman. If I have to do something and I'm a free bird, I would love to do it the way I would want it. But
Mhm.
yes, without hurting others' feelings and sentiments, it comes alongside when one learns and grows and overcomes the thoughts that our emotions should be in balanced state and we can love everybody and still celebrate the differences of everyone and bring together everybody on one table and
Mhm.
start communicating and networking and produce more results. Because networking is very important. If we put them in plan and develop a greater plan, then we can actually build great relationships in the work atmosphere as well as in personal life. It was fantastic having you, Andrenette. The people who are watching us, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts, commenting, loving, and liking our conversations. This is a fantastic episode where Andronette shared her journey of life, and I'm sure there are many more guests who are going to come and instill confidence to communicate and break the barriers of hesitation. Andronette has taken the step today on 74th episode, and I'm sure this love of ours is going to be actually very useful for those who are bereft of the joy of feeling wanted and motivated. And I'm sure Andronette has one last thought to share with the viewers before parting and before saying a goodbye to our viewers, because there is something always as a special gift or a token of love as a tip that you can share on this platform that can be everlasting as an impact on the mindset of people who would be watching you later, Antoinette. It'll be fantastic to have your last words here today as a parting thought.
Okay, yes. Well, it's what I say. It's my I always say I'm noted for this. This is what I say. So I'll say to you, just remember today you woke up the best version of you. And tomorrow you'll wake up even better because you grow every day in every way if you choose to. Where we are in life, just one last thing. And I don't know why I want to share, but I'm going to share this. Remember
Yes,
this, everyone has a choice. We are where we're at in our lives because of the choices we've made or we've allowed other people to make for us. So if you're
yes,
awake today, you can surely change and make a different choice. And that's why I said today, you woke up the best version of you, and tomorrow you'll wake up even better because you grow every day in every way if you choose. Choose love. Love yourself. Thank you so much.
thanks a lot, Antoinette. That was fantastic. And my dear friend, this has made my evening, and I'm sure it's going to make everybody's evening a special one because your thoughts have impacted me. And it's beautiful to continue this bond of friendship, not only on this episode, otherwise as well. So, whenever you do make a visit to India or I come to USA, I'm sure that all of us are going to have a gala time
Yes.
meeting, celebrating conversations, and also having our time together as friends. Everyone has a different way, and you're very right. Everyone has a choice, and whatever we choose and whatever we go through, it is assured that we are learning something and we are growing every single moment. And on this note, my dear viewers, we bid adieu to Andrenette Moore. And Srishti has stated it was an absolute honor to listen to you, ma'am. It is wonderful that everybody who has watched us, Nilima, Srishti, whosoever, the ones who viewed and did not comment, we are thanking you from our heart and mind, because it takes a lot to be who we are today. And we are just here to empower, motivate, and inspire, and nothing more or less. But let you know that you have one life to live. Never let any
Yes.
negative thought impact you and commit such heinous crimes as suicide or depression or something, because you always have a window open for you. Remember, after a night comes a day, and there is a hope for everybody. There is a ray of hope, and that is unconditional love, my dear viewers. People are there looking at you, wanting to share their experiences and empower you. Thanks a lot, Andrenette, for joining us tonight on Deep Talks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.